I think the pitchers can do whatever they want, can yell, pump their fist when they come off the mound. The batters don't do nothing about it. Um, and it goes to show me how it just goes to show that there's got to be a double standard there, because you can't have guys getting angry when they give up a home run because a guy watched it, especially a moonshot like Dietrich hit this year off the Pirates. He should be able to watch those. I don't care. You tell me we're the last place in the National League Central. I don't care what you tell me. It's 162 game season, guys. Stuff's going to even out. All right, over 162 games. By the end of it, we will see who the best teams are. It's not like football where you can get a couple fluky wins in there, and you can beat out a team by a couple wins, and make the playoffs or something. It's 162 games. The best teams will hold up. It's not a sprint like football. It's a marathon. But yeah, people, talk about letting the kids play and all that, and then what, you think kids want to come and not see bat flips? Like, that's what kids love. That's why you always see kids hitting home runs, like whenever they hit home runs or whatever, like playing in their backyard, they do bat flips and stuff, because run around the bases, because that's what people want to see, spending your hard-earned money to come watch these guys play a kid's game, and we need excitement, and because baseball is a dying game. You don't have to, you can look that up yourself. Basketball, football, everything is overshadowing baseball at this point. And that is not something that you want at all. Hold on a second, guys. Alright, I'm back. Sorry. I'm a little bit sick. I got a little bit of a sore throat, so that's why I sound kind of weird today. But my throat's been bothering me for a few days, so. Alright, and then topic number 5 is my thoughts on David Bell's manager so far. I think he's a pretty smart guy. Sometimes I feel like he overmanages. He feels like he just has to bring in, this one guy to get this one guy out. Like if you think, a guy throws he just overpowers 2 hitters, the first 2 hitters of the inning, and then, you got a big lefty, we'll say, Christian Yelich coming up, or Cody Bellinger. Does not mean that you have to bring in a lefty, like Amir Garrett to face him. Like, if David Hernandez has just overpowered the first 2 hitters of the inning, doesn't mean that you have to bring in a lefty to face the lefty. Just let him. Sometimes you got to use your eyes. You can't always look at the analytical side. The Dodgers have gotten killed by that the last 2 years in the postseason or in the World Series. But yeah, overall, he's a pretty smart guy. He's got a good idea of what he's doing, and I love how he stands up for his players. He's really got the guys playing well right now too, which is good. And then, some of the ideas that he's had there that I haven't liked are the way that he decided to use Raisel Iglesias in the beginning of the season. As we already talked about, non-save situations. Now, as you know, I already talked about all that. I do not think I was all for it at the beginning, but then as I kind of started to think about it more and more, I was just thinking, nah, I don't know. That just that messes with his routine, because he's got a routine. Maybe get up in the 8th inning, start getting loose, stuff like that. And he can really mess with the closer's routine. And the closer's like the one guy that you want in your bullpen to just be shut down. You don't want, some guy who's got a different routine from night to night. You want him to have the same routine that works for him, so he can come out and shut the door and get you wins, get you saves, And so, but yeah, and then some of the other stuff that I haven't liked is how he uses as well Jared Hughes and Robert Stevenson. I feel like they should use Robert Stevenson in multiple stints, not just one or two, not just one inning. Um, and I feel like he doesn't pitch enough anyway. He pitches like he pitches basically 2 innings a week at this point. He pitches like 2 innings a week. It's like 2 appearances a week for a guy like him. He needs to stay sharp. He's not going to wear out. That's a guy that's thrown 160, 170, 180 innings the last few years. He's not going to wear out, Big kid, he knows what he's doing. And I feel like they need to use him a little bit more. I don't know if they're being cautious with him or trying to keep his arm as sharp as possible for as long so he doesn't wear out and, go back to his old ways with his command. But whatever he's doing, personally, if it was me, I would use Stevenson in a couple inning stints, like 2 innings, 1 game, and then give him a few days off and then use him like 2 innings again, Not every time, but most of the time I use him for more than 1 inning. And then also Jared Hughes. Not a big fan of how they used him either because he's a sinker ball pitcher, and as we know, the sinker is supposed to sink, go down, and the more tired that you are, the more the ball sinks. So the more that he's tired, the more the ball's going to sink, and the nastier his stuff is going to be. And I've heard Chris Welsh and stuff talking about this during the games and stuff, but he's right now he's pitching like 2-3 innings every time he comes out of the pen, compared to last year where he was pitching almost every day or every other day for about an inning and would just come in and get 3 outs and leave. And I personally liked how they used him last year because for a guy like Jared Hughes, you want him to be tired more than you want him to be fresh, because the more tired he is, the more his stuff's going to sink, because it's going to wear out, his arm's worn out, so it's going to sink more, and that's what you want. But that's just my thoughts. I don't know about all of you. Guys. And then for the last few topics I'm just going to talk about here, what moves I would make if I was the Cincinnati Reds. And right now I would say I'd bring up Phillip Ervin full time as just an outfielder. He can play a couple games a week. Really, really good bench bat. Hits the fastball extremely well. Fast, he could run the bases at the end of a game, he's quick, he's athletic, he can play all 3 spots in the outfield, no problem. He's got plenty of arm. I just feel like he's really gotten robbed the last few years. He's shown that he can hit at the major league level as well as the minor league level, and he always finds himself back in AAA. It doesn't matter. I feel like it doesn't really matter what he does. He always finds his way back down to AAA, and maybe there's reasons for that, but right now I feel like he should be in the major leagues. And I also feel the same way about Cody Reed. Cody Reed's actually injured right now. He's got an MCL sprain and on his right knee, I believe. He hurt it the nighttime game of the doubleheader against the Pirates earlier this week, and he's on the 10-day IL right now. So when he gets back, I think he should be in the major leagues. He probably won't be, but he definitely won't be actually, but I think he should be. But the thing I like about him is he's kind of like Amir Garrett in the sense that he's got the wipeout slider, big tall left-hander, got a really good fastball. He's got the fastball slider command. He's shown last year, the second half of the season, he really, really showed that he could start and relieve at the major league level. His biggest problem has always been control. And last year he really started to figure that out and started to throw strikes a lot more. And then this year he's also throwing strikes a lot more. And he's kind of been like the 9th reliever of the team. He's like the 26th man on the roster. He's like that guy that if they need an extra arm in the bullpen, they bring him up. And this year, he's pitched really, really good at bullpen. Sorry, I'm getting another drink. but I mean, this year he's got a 6.1 or a 1.42 ERA and 6.1 innings pitched. Now, obviously, that's a really small sample size, but last year, I mean, he really showed that he could throw strikes, and this year he's throwing strikes. Uh, he's doing that as well down in the minor leagues. He's got like a 2.5 ERA down in AAA. I mean, he's really, really pitched well this year. And I really feel like he could help this team a lot more than Wandy Peralta could. Or to be quite frank, Zach Duke. I do not think that Zach Duke should be on this team. I think he's about one bad outing away from getting DFA'd. And I mean, I would do it too. I mean, the dude just hasn't been able to get outs. He's not reliable. It's like batting practice for these guys every time he comes into the game. And so yeah, I mean, that's what I would do right there. And then also something that I would consider looking at is finding a replacement for DeSclafani in the bullpen, or in the starting rotation. He has really, really struggled the last few times out, and when Alex Wood comes back, somebody's got to, which is going to be around the All-Star break. So I mean, we've still got about a month. It may be a little bit before the All-Star break, so it could be about, I'd say 4 to 5 weeks before Alex Wood comes back. And right now, if I had to pick somebody to take out of the rotation when he comes back, I would choose Anthony DeSclafani, and I'd put Disco in the pen, just because I've never been that high on Anthony DeSclafani. There's times when he is really, really good, and then there's other times where he just can't pitch very well. And I mean, you know, you got to be able to command your pitches, especially if you're a starter, and that's something he just hasn't done lately. And I mean, Alex Wood's gonna have to be in the starting rotation when he comes back. You know, we need a lefty in the rotation, and a lot of people would say that we should send Malley down to AAA, but to be honest, Tyler Malley has shown that he should be up here. I mean, and he's still a lot younger, and he's got a lot higher of a ceiling than Anthony DeSclafani, in my opinion. But that's what I would do. Another thing I want to talk about is kind of my thoughts on Nick Senzel so far, who was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 MLB draft out of the University of Tennessee. He was the SEC Player of the Year. His junior year at Tennessee, as we have talked about, he's extremely fast. You know, he's a lot more athletic than I personally thought. His speed is extremely good. He's got a really good eye at the plate. You know, he takes pitches and he does it with some authority. You know, he's not one of those guys that kind of, you know, you can always tell, like guys like Joey Votto and stuff, when they take a pitch, you know, like they know it's a ball if it's borderline. Like they know when it's a ball, they know when it's a strike. You know, like if you watched, you would notice like when he takes a pitch, it's just like, yeah, I know it's a ball, and he instantly like turns around and, you know, fixes his batting gloves or whatever he does, you know. And yeah, I mean, and honestly, I figured he'd be kind of choppy out in center field, but I personally think he could be our center fielder in the future. He's definitely got the speed to do it. Small ballpark. He's got a lot better of an arm than I thought too. I mean, I know he won a Gold Glove down in the minor leagues a couple of years ago for third baseman, so the arm is definitely there. And I mean, he's only going to get better out there. And then he also has got some pop in that bat too, which, I mean, is no surprise to anybody. But I think he's going to be a guy that's going to hit 20, 25 home runs a year for us down the road. And I think he's our future leadoff hitter too. And he could definitely take some walks. And that's definitely what you want. As a leadoff hitter, you want a guy who's going to get on base and knock in some runs for you too when the lineup turns over.